Hey guys, I just wanted to get with you real quick before we dive into this video. The video is really choppy. There's some parts that I left out that I wanted to put in there. This project drug on way longer than I wanted it to, and for those reasons, the video gets kind of choppy. I'm gonna try to put it together the best I can, but just know that it's right now this is about the best I can do. I'm new to this YouTube thing. It's totally different than anything I'm used to, as far as recording videos, editing, and all that stuff. So, but again, I apologize, and hope you guys enjoy it. What's going on, guys? Josh here with Mid Georgia Lawn Specialist. We're going to try to finish up this Kohler project today. And I apologize, I jumped ahead of you guys just a little bit. But with Thanksgiving and, I had some time off of work, which was nice. But with Thanksgiving and doing stuff with family and my kids and, just everything else, I kind of had to do what I could do with what little time I had. So, like I said, I did jump ahead of you guys a little bit. I've got the rotating assembly in, got the cylinder head back on. There's a few more things that I'm going to do on camera, but like I said, I wanted to get it all on video, but time just didn't allow. So anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did, and then I'll probably have just a short time lapse of me just getting it buttoned back up. I did get my parts in though, and got everything back together. Just to recap, I got a new connecting rod. I've got a new head gasket. The crankshaft seals, we'll go ahead and replace those. And I believe that's it. I think that's it. Yeah. So anyway, let's turn this around here. Let me show you guys a little bit of what I did off camera. So I went ahead and got all this put back together. Got the cam in, the counterbalance shaft. I think that's the appropriate name for that, the counterbalance. But anyway, got the head back on. I've got, I never messed with the valve adjustment. So all that should still be the same. I'll go ahead and check it, and I'll explain how to do that too. But one thing I did want to talk about, if you ever get into one of these motors and take it apart, go to put it back together, is the timing marks. There is this dot right here on the cam. There's like a little indentation right there, and there's also dots on these two gears. And there is watch out for that crankshaft right there. There is this one right here is for the alignment mark for this counterbalance shaft. But if you roll the motor around, let's see if I can get it just right here. Alright, so on the crankshaft, I don't know if you can see, there's like two little dots on this gear. But you always want to make sure when you're putting stuff like this back together, you always want to make sure that these dots line up, because that's basically the whole timing of the engine right there. So if you get these dots between the crank and the cam off by one tooth, it's not going to run. If it does run, it's going to run terrible. But like I said, I've put them together before in a hurry and gotten this one tooth off, and it didn't run at all. So and on this one, I don't know if you can see, there's two dots on that tooth right there, and then you want to line that up with this. But you just want to make sure all that stuff is lined up. Now the governor doesn't have any sort of reference on it. It really doesn't matter. But as long as you have everything in time, it's going to run. But it's something you definitely want to pay attention to. Another thing that I want to talk about is the honing process. I was really wanting to get it on camera, but like I said, I just didn't have a lot of time. I want to get this thing done. I want to get it back together, and I want to put it to work. So the honing process was real simple. You don't have to get carried away with it, but if you have, there's several different types of cylinder hones, but this is one that I bought. I actually didn't have one. I thought I had one, but I don't. So I went out and bought this one. Now you can buy the different grit stones, and depending on how aggressive you want to get with it. These are really fine. I can't remember the exact grit of these, but it's a really fine grit. Just because I didn't want to get carried away and take a bunch of material off. I just wanted to put some cross hatches back in the cylinder. So. But they make several different kinds of cylinder hones. They make some like that with stones on them, and they also make some that have like little BBs or like little balls. There's like millions of little balls in like a cylinder shape. Those work really well too. That one was really cheap. I just picked it up auto parts store just because I knew that like I said, I wasn't intending on getting really aggressive with the honing process. I just wanted to put some cross hatches back in it. Got that knocked out. And there's another thing I want to talk about too is torque specs. I've talked to a lot of different people that have put these motors together, and there's guys that have put these motors together not torquing anything. And it sounds crazy, but I'm a believer in the torque wrench, depending on what you're doing. Like when we bought the side cover on, I'm not gonna get crazy with torque specs on the side cover. But the connecting rod and the cylinder head, I feel like are a must. So we got the connecting rod torqued down. I believe the specs on it, and you can find specs for just about anything online. I believe the specs for the connecting rod were like 100 inch-pounds. The cylinder head was in 2 increments, 15 foot-pounds and then 30 foot-pounds, I believe, is what the final torque spec was. And there is a sequence to follow also on the cylinder head. On these small engines, it's not. I don't want to say it's not important, because it is, but it's not as important as if you were doing like a cylinder head on a car or something, because with this cylinder head right here, we only had like 4 or 5 bolts. So you just kind of want to work in like a diagonal pattern, and make sure it's torqued down evenly. That's the biggest thing with the sequence. You don't want it to be pulling harder on one side than it is the other. You kind of want to work it down and get it sitting nice and level, nice and flat. I got the block really clean before I started putting all this back together. I cleaned the block really good, pressure washed it, wiped it down real good. These cylinder head gaskets, let me get you turned around here. These cylinder head gaskets is basically what you're going to find on any kind of small engine. I don't know the proper name for it, but it's almost like it's like a really, really soft metal. It's like an aluminum gasket or something like that. And I'm probably going to get raked over the coals because I don't remember what this is actually called, this material. But you can indent it with your fingernail. It's a real soft, like a metal. When you pull the cylinder head off, and I should have went ahead and recorded this process, but when you pull the cylinder head off, you're going to have some of this material left on the block and on the block and on the mating surface of the cylinder head. With these aluminum blocks, it is imperative that you do not get crazy with those little 3M discs, the little like Scotch-Brite disc or anything like that, because you will remove material, and this motor will never ever keep a cylinder head gasket in it ever again. It sounds crazy, but that aluminum is very, very soft, So what I did was took I don't know if I've got it up here, but it's just a Scotch-Brite pad, and a little bit of WD-40, and you just work it by hand. You just go easy, go slow, and remove all that gasket material, and you really don't harm the surface of the maintenance surface of the head or the block at all. And the reason I say imperative several times is because I have done it myself. I've gotten carried away, removed too much material, wound up getting into the material of the head or the block, and it'll never ever hold a head gasket again after that. Unless you do some machine work and get that surface flat and true after you've screwed it up. So that's why I say that. Just get you a Scotch-Brite pad, some WD-40, PP Blaster, something like that, and just real easy. You know, it really doesn't take a whole lot at all. I mean, it sounds like doing something like that by hand would take forever, but it don't. So that's another thing I wanted to touch on. One thing that I thought was really cool, this is actually the oil pump, and I've got this cover removed. This is like the same exact style of oil pump that's in a GM LS base engine. You know, your 4.H, 5.3s, they're really, really popular in the drag racing world, and then, you know, hot rods and stuff like that. But I thought that was really cool. That's basically the same design. Of course, it's a lot smaller, but that is the same design of an oil pump that's in an LS motor. I thought that was pretty neat. So I'm going to work on getting this thing back together. I'm going to try to get it bolted up on the mower. I don't know if I'm going to try to bust it off today or not. I guess I should, since I'm making a video, but the weather sucks. It's raining. That's why I've got the door closed behind me. But I don't know. When we go see, we'll get it together, get it all the way put back together, get it bolted up. If I've got time, we'll bust it off. If not, then we'll just have to wait another day. So, all right, well, let me get this time-lapse footage up, and we'll get this thing put back together. So we'll be back here in just a minute. All right, guys, we have wrapped up the Kohler Husqvarna walk-behind project. It is a running cutting mower. This whole ordeal drug on way longer than I wanted it to. Life got in the way, and you know, other things like that. So, but we got her done. I've been running it a little bit, and it runs pretty good. I'm gonna have to do some carburetor work to it, but you know, for the most part, it runs pretty dang good. It cuts good. There's a few bugs I'm gonna have to work out, but you know, nothing crazy. One thing I did want to say though, and I know the last place we left off was I was going to do some time-lapse footage of me putting the engine back together and getting it completely finished. And I'm sorry if this wind, I hope you guys can hear me in this wind, but I was going to do some time-lapse footage of me putting the block back together and getting it back on the mower. I recorded the time-lapse footage, and it was complete garbage. Like it was super blurry, and it was just terrible. There was no way for me to really salvage it. So I hate that I'm not able to include that, but you know, I don't know. It is what it is. So, but anyway, here's the mower. Like I said, I've been running it a little bit. I'm gonna have to do some carburetor work to it. It's not 100% right. I mean, it runs good and it cuts good. It's got a little bit of a I don't know what you would call it. It's got a little bit of a surge. You know, it's, you know. But once you put it under load and you start cutting with it, it does great. But anyway, yeah, I got the motor back on, got it back together, got it back on. Had to do a little bit of adjusting on the belts, or on the deck belt itself. There's a small mechanism like right in this area that engages the belt when you push down on a lever. But it, like I said, it does good. It cuts good. You know, everything's working the way it should. So Anyway, we're gonna do a little bit of cutting with it, and we're gonna wrap this project up, and I'll be able to put this thing to work.
That's good cutting.
Thanks, babe. All right, guys. So that's going to conclude our Kohler Husqvarna rebuild. I appreciate you guys sticking with me through this thing. You know, I'm always learning, and you know, with this YouTube thing, it's all so new. You know, it's kind of like another job, really. But I enjoy doing it so far. So we're gonna keep making videos for you. Anyway, like I said, it turned out real good. It cuts really good. It's going to work out really well for the smaller yards that I have, and I'm going to try to pick up a lot of small yards next year. They seem to be pretty profitable, so we're going to try to go that route and try to make some money with it. It cuts really good. You know, surprisingly, the blades aren't really in the best shape. It's just a regular set of high vac blades, but the blades cut really good. I'll probably wind up ordering a set of like the Gator style mulching blades. That's what I run on my Gravely. They seem to cut really well and hold up to a lot of the grass and stuff that I cut. You know, down here in Georgia. I mean, you got a lot of Bermuda and stuff like that, but I've got a lot of customers that have grass like mine. It's basically just a bunch of weeds. You know, you got yards with dirt patches and stuff in them, so. But anyway, the Gator style mulching blade seems to work out really well for me, so I'll probably get a set for this, and we're gonna put it to work and make some money with it. But I appreciate you guys hanging around, and if you liked the video, just drop me a comment. And Jackson, don't touch that muffler, that's hot. I appreciate you guys hanging around, and drop me a comment, hit the like button, subscribe, you know the whole deal. I'll probably make a video soon, an equipment video. I'll make a video of you know what I carry on my truck, what I use every day, and some of the equipment that I have that I don't use every day. I figured that might be interesting, maybe help somebody out. So anyway, comment, like, subscribe. Until next time, we'll see you later.